This is an interview with Mrs. Louphenia Thomas for the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute's Oral History Project. I'm Dr. Horace Huntley. We're presently at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. Today is June 17, 1998. I want to thank you, Ms. Thomas, for coming and spending some time with me this morning. Welcome to the Institute.
Thank you
Yes,
for inviting me.
Look, I'd just like to ask you, were you born in Birmingham?
No.
Where were you born?
I was born in Coosa County, Alabama.
Coosa County.
Mm-hmm.
And were your parents from Coosa County?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Did they own property there?
Yes.
What kind of work did your father do?
Well, my father ran a blacksmith shop.
Okay.
You know what that is?
Yes, ma'am.
And he had a farm whereby he had other people who were working on the farm.
Right. So did he own the farm?
He owned the farm.
And okay, so he had people working there
That's
for
right.
him. How much education did your mother and father have?
Well, they didn't have. My father had high school education, but my mother didn't.
Okay. Did she work outside of the home?
No, she didn't.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had one brother.
One brother. Was he older or younger?
Younger.
Now, Coosa County, that's where you started in your schooling.
In Coosa County.
Okay. Do you remember your first grade?
Yes.
First going to school? Tell me a little about what was that like?
Oh, it was a one-room building. As they called them, schoolhouses.
Yes, ma'am.
And the teacher there was a Mr. Swindle. And we would sometimes walk to school. It wasn't too far on Highway 231. That's 231 going from Silicotta to Montgomery.
Right.
And we would get on that highway and go to school.
Okay.
School wasn't too far.
Now, did you have more than one grade in that school, in one class? Or did he?
In that building?
Yes, ma'am.
In that building, I think they had about, if I remember correctly, was
two classrooms.
Two classrooms.
Now, that of course was a rural community. Is that right?
Oh yes.
And the name of the community was Equality. Is that the name of the community?
Well, now that was a little distance from where I grew up.
Okay.
It was on my birth certificate, I believe, that Equality was the place that I was born.
Okay, that's where the post office would be.
Yes, that's where the post office. They delivered mail
out
on the highway, you know.
I see. And you went, that first school that you went, was that the Coosa City Elementary School or county?
It was Coosa County Elementary School.
And you went from first grade through?
What was that, first grade through, what it used to be up in,
fifth or sixth grade.
Sixth grade, something like that.
Right.
And then after that, I attended the Coosa County Training School.
Oh,
yeah. You know, they had training schools at high school levels at that time.
Right. What was it like growing up in Coosa County during those days?
It was very nice. My father had the white, so to speak, had a lot of respect for my father, and I very well remember that. And each time I go there, I ask for some of those whites, but they're all about dead now.
Right.
And but they were very respectful of my father.
This is you grew up in the 30s. This is during the Depression years, right?
Yes, but I never did know what a depression was. Even though I was in the country,
right,
a rural area, we had plenty. And I didn't know what the depression was. When I came to Birmingham, they were pushing those little red wagons going what was that, to the Red Cross or somewhere,
Right.
getting
Get
food and bringing back. I didn't know what that was when I came here.
That was different for you.
It
You had not
was,
experienced
because
that.
we had plenty.
Yeah. Now your father being a blacksmith, was it his blacksmith shop?
It was in Blacksmith shop.
So that would then put you in a rather privileged position then as a family.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he had the farm as well.
Yeah,
And
he had
people
farm.
work with him, work for him on the farm.
That's right.
Now, you came to Birmingham, I guess in your senior year in high school. Is that when you came to Birmingham?
My senior year in high school, yeah.
You came to
I think I was
Fairfield.
in 11th grade when I
Oh, okay.
came here.
Okay.
And I went to Fairfield High School that other year.
Yeah. Did you live in Fairfield?
I didn't live in Fairfield then,
Okay. When you
but I
came,
moved to Fairfield later.
yeah. When you were going to school in Fairfield, your 11th grade, what community did you move into?
I lived in Rising over here.
Near the ballpark.
Rickwood Park.
Oh, okay. And you went to Fairfield, the school. Why did you go to Fairfield?
I tell you the truth, I really don't know. It must have been somebody that I met who was going there.
Right.
And I had a child, baby, at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And the Elliots, I don't know whether you know them, of the city of Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they own property out there by Brickwood.
Right. Okay.
And Sam Harris, you remember him?
I remember the name.
You know, he was a doctor,
Right. Okay.
but he died.
Mm-hmm.
His wife was,
And he lived in that same community.
no, they owned
They owned.
some property out there.
Oh, I see. So when you came to Birmingham in the 11th grade, you lived in Rising, you went to school at Fairfield. So you went there for 2 years then.
Yeah.
Well, why did you?
Quite 2 years.
Oh, okay. So it's like the middle of the school year. Why did you come to Birmingham?
Well, I got married and my husband got a job here, and I came here then.
Oh, okay. And you were married then when you finished high school?
I was married when I finished high school.
Oh, okay.
You know, at that time they didn't allow you to go to school if you were married.
Right.
But the teachers out there vouched for me to go to school
Mm-hmm.
for some reason
Okay.
or another.
Right, right. Well, how was the transition then from a rural community to an urban community?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I hadn't lived just a country life per se, because I had been through my father mixed with different people, you know,
Right.
and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't too hard for me
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Then after what was Fairfield High School like at that time?
Oh, it was nice. Very nice. You know, Fairfield High School was one of your better high schools. I don't know whether you remember that or not.
Yes, ma'am.
But your mayor finished there too.
Right.
And we had a principal there who was a good principal, Dr. E.J. Oliver, and you've heard of him.
Sure.
And I enjoyed going to school there that year.
Right.
That year and a half, you know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I think they bent over a little bit to let me go to school in the middle of the year.
Yeah. What kind of work did your husband do?
Well, my husband worked for U.S. Steel. He had a job.
Did he work in the plant, in the mills, or did he work in the mine?
He worked in the mines. That was U.S. Steel, wasn't it?
Right, yes, ma'am. TCI.
Yeah, that's right, TCI.
Did he work in the oil mines or the coal mines?
Coal mines.
Coal mines. Okay.
It was 2 or 3 of those fellows from Coosa County that worked in the coal mines here. They got a job here.
Right. Then, after you finished high school, then what did you do?
My first thing, well, I had a child after that.
Right.
I took a course in cosmetology, and I went into the beauty field for a while, and had a shop, beauty shop,
Oh, okay.
and had a lot of interest in that, and had a very, very good business. course, you know, they have a very strong, beauticians organization. And I was elected president of that for, I think I remained president statewide for 11 years.
Mm-hmm. So you were in that career field for quite some time.
Yes, quite some time, and then I went back to school during that time. Went back to Miles
Oh, okay.
and finished Miles, and then on from there.
Right. What did you do after you finished Miles?
Well, after I finished Miles, I got a job. My first job was at Investment State Technical College down on, investment.
Right.
You know where that is.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was transferred from there to Lawson State.
Mm-hmm. I see.
You know how they were transferring courses and things at
Right.
that time?
Right.
The state was.
Right. Why did you decide to leave the beauty field to go into teaching?
Well, there's such thing as you can see the handwriting on the wall. Excuse me, that you see that you're going to need more education to become involved in some of the things that you want to do.
Right.
And I've always never been satisfied with status quo.
Mm.
And I went on back to Miles and ran my beauty shop all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Where was your shop? Was
In
it
Fairfield.
In Fairfield. Uh-huh. Now, when you went to Miles, were you a registered voter by that time?
Oh yeah, you could register at the age of 21, wasn't that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And how do you remember when you first registered to vote here in Birmingham?
When I first went to register to vote, they told me I had to show them that I owned $300 worth, it was $300, something like that, of property in the county. That was ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I had to go back and get a piece of paper and
Poverty
stick up
qualification.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
It was
And you had to take that back.
back to them, but I intended to vote, and I went on and got it, carried through, and went back another time,
Right, right. Well, did you have to take the test? Was there a test given
No,
at the
they
time?
were not giving a test
Mm-hmm.
during that time, but they had to have that information. I guess that was to subsidize for something, I don't know.
Well, it eliminates some people.
Yeah, it would.
Right. Not have it.
Especially blacks,
That's right.
at that time.
Yes, ma'am. In the mid-50s, well, of course, 1954 was the Brown versus Board of Education decision that nullified the separate but equal doctrine, the Plessy versus Ferguson decision. Of course, here in Birmingham, the schools would not be desegregated for at least another 10 years. Right after that, of course, the bus boycott in Montgomery would take place. Then the NACP would be outlawed from operating in the state. And in 56, 1 week after the state outlawed the operation of NACP, the Alabama Christian Movement for Human Rights would be organized. Were you at all familiar with any of the ministers that were involved, or were you at all involved in those initial stages?
Yes, I let a group who's headed by, what's this minister's name? He was, they had a organization, it's called the Christian Movement.
Alabama Christian Movement for Human Rights.
What was the president's name? Reverend
Shuttlesworth.
No, it wasn't Shuttlesworth. That was before Shuttlesworth's time.
Okay, well.
Only his time.
Okay.
But anyway, I let them use a building of mine in Fairfield.
Okay.
Because I owned a corner there and I had an extra building beside my business building. And I let them use the building and furnish them with telephones during the movement.
Oh, okay.
To help them get folks registered to vote.
Right.
They would, supplying transportation and that kind of thing.
Right.
But when they left, we know how the folks used to come from out of town here to do that.
Right.
A lot of them put long distance phone on my phone, and I say you can't win for losing. But anyway, I went on with it,
Right.
trying to help.
Yes, ma'am. Now, you became rather active in politics in the mid-60s. Tell me just a bit about it. How did you get involved in politics?
Well, I tell you what, living in Fairfield, they did not have a single black on the council out there. So the people came to me who were interested in running as a candidate for a seat on the council. They asked me if I would be their campaign manager. And out there in Fairfield, they had a building called the Moorers Hall, kind of Christian organization, no building. And I agreed there were 7 who qualified to run. And I told them.
Approximately what year is this?
That was 1969.
Okay.
And I agreed, I told them if they all would work from one pool, I would serve for all of them.
So you were their
Campaign
manager for each of those?
All
7?
And together.
Okay.
We used the same building, all of them worked in the same building. And out of the 7, 6 won. Those were the first black council persons elected out there.
So you elected 6?
6 out of 7.
Out of 7.
We walked the streets, we went to churches, we raised our money. We didn't spend, the candidates didn't have to spend any money. We had mass meetings at churches and things like that and raised the money. And I got those ministers going.
Right. Well, that was the question I was going to ask. How did you get the people out?
The people came down, I got those ministers to help me get the people out. And they supported it. And Fairfield was so happy to, the people there were so happy that they had some blacks on the council.
Right. And now this was the first time that blacks
First
had
time.
actually served, or it was the first time that blacks had run for office?
No, first time they had served. They were elected. They had not even tried to run for office.
So this was the very first time that anyone had attempted to run. And you got 6 out. How many was on the council?
Well, at that time, I think they had, how many did they have? They had about 9.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So they were elected by district.
that's right.
So these 7 people were not competing against each other.
No,
They were,
I tell you what had to happen before that. Attorney David Hood, you heard of him back
Yes.
there. But we were very close friends. We redistricted Fairfield
Okay.
in order for persons to have districts to run from.
Right.
And we got that straightened out, and then that's the way they, became.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting because that then opens the door for many other things to take place.
Yeah. And since then, they've always had blacks on the council.
Right, right. Now, why did they come to you to ask?
Well, I've always been involved in cities, community things, and from even PTA days when my child was in school there.
Right.
I was interested in PTA, and then they had a Democratic little group out there and all that kind of thing. Well, at that time, no blacks were Republicans.
Right.
And I would always go to their meetings, and I worked in the PTA. I was one of the presidents at the time, and like that.
Right, right. So you were rather visible in the community.
That's
you were a
right.
community leader.
And running a business there. I had a coffee shop there too, that Miles College really supported because
The coffee shop that was in Fairfield, you owned that?
Yeah, that was all at a coffee shop, and the next building connected to that was my beauty shop.
Oh, okay.
Well, you didn't go to mine, did you?
No, man, but I knew the coffee shop, but I spent a lot of time at the coffee shop.
You did. That was my business.
Mm-hmm.
I built it from the ground. But anyway, when I said Miles supported, the students
Right.
supported it.
That's right.
And I look around in 6th Avenue a lot of times. I see some of them,
Mhm.
lot of them over there that used to come to my coffee shop,
Right.
get sandwiches on credit. One day I told Cliff, run the limousine thing.
That's
I said, Chris, did you ever pay me for my hamburger? That's all I was laughing.
I'm sure there are some that didn't pay you for it.
Yeah, cantaloupe, all those went there,
Mhm, mhm.
And it was a lot of fun.
Right. Well, at what point did you decide to run for office yourself?
I was in Birmingham, at that time. You remember Judge Vance,
Yes, ma'am.
Robert Vance, that was killed with that bomb.
Yes.
And I started going to the meeting with David Hood all the time, to the state Democratic committee meetings and things like that. And I was elected as a member of the state Democratic committee of Alabama.
Mhm.
And Judge Vance, we were in Washington, and he said, Louphenia said there's a vacancy in District 39. Why don't you run? You all always talk about women don't do this, that, and the other.
Mhm.
And I liked him a lot. He was a nice fellow.
Mhm.
And I told him, I said, you joking. I said, no women are going to win, and especially a black one, I told him.
Mhm.
And he said, well, you got all black voters. And he said, come on and try it. He was president of the state party at that time.
Okay.
And he got me in there to run in District 39 then, but it's 53 now. See, Newton is in that
Right,
district
that's
now.
right.
And the party got me in there. They didn't put me in there empty-handed either with no money or nothing. They gave me
They
the
were supportive of you.
very. And they even came out and helped me campaign. Don Siegelman,
Mhm.
he used to go from door to door for me over in the white neighborhood.
Right,
I think it's a small neighborhood in District 53.
right.
But Don Siegelman and all of them, they
What year was this that you?
that was, what year was I elected? 76 or 77,
Mhm.
something like that. But anyway, Fred Horn ran against me.
Right.
And Wren, you remember Wren? He was a perennial runner.
Tommy
Tommy
Wren.
Wren, that's right.
Right.
He was one of them who ran at that time against me.
Right.
But I won out over them. So that was the way that was, and I still was elected as a national committee person
Mhm.
of the Democratic Party.
Did you serve one term? Okay. And why did you decide to? Did you run for a second term?
Yeah, that's when Fred won.
Oh, okay. Fred won then. Okay.
I had, my daughter passed at that time.
Mhm.
You didn't know my daughter, did you?
No, ma'am.
She went to church. She attended over at Congregational Church. She finished Talladega. And all those folks up there at Talladega,
Right.
Mason Davis and all of them, they all went to school at Talladega.
Right.
And she joined them there. She got married, and she died in 78.
Mhm.
That was the year I was supposed to be re-elected, but she died.
What was it like serving? Now you were the first black woman to serve in the state legislature, right?
That's right.
What was that?
In the state of Alabama.
Right. What was the experience like?
Well, it was a great experience. When I went there were 104 whites, all male. Treated me very, very nice. I think they had a reason. They were going to say that, well, we better be nice or else I had the personality that they wouldn't buy. But anyway, I enjoyed it. And then a lady was elected from St. Clair County. She was white.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it. They were very nice. And very nice in helping me to understand the rules, the rule book in the legislature. That's your political Bible, they say.
That's right.
But they helped me a lot. Because have to, everybody who go there have to learn.
Right.
And I did, gained a lot from it.
What do you think was your most pride accomplishment?
Well, I tell you what, all of, Governor Wallace has all these 2-year institutions, 2-year colleges,
Right.
And they were there lined up one day, and all of them, at that time, you had about 7 blacks from Jefferson County serving in the legislature. Jackson,
Ron Jackson.
Ron Jackson, Tucker,
Right.
Hilliard, was a bunch of 7 of them. But they had never gotten a dime for any of the schools here. And I saw all those folks in line to the Speaker of the House, going to the Speaker of the House. I said, what they in line for? And some of them told me they getting money for those junior colleges. I said, well, why are we calling junior college? So I got in line. You know what they'll say, I can say it. The blacks told me, say, you losing your time. You wasting your time. You might as well sit down. I stayed in that line. And when I got up there to the Speaker of the House, he said, come and talk with me. And I did later. And I got the most segregated person here from Jefferson County. He could win any bill that he could push it through.
Who was that?
What his name? Saf. What his name out here in in the eastern section.
Oh, okay.
Older know him very well because he was the one who told me about it. And I kept on going, and I would go up there, and Wallace sent for me. And Wallace and those folks helped me get $2.2 million for Lawson State.
Is that right?
That's right.
So that's the first money that Lawson State had received.
First they had ever received above the regular appropriation.
Right.
Every school got their annual appropriation.
Yes.
They had never gotten a dime over that before. And Jesse Lewis came into the presidency there afterward. And they kind of messed up some of the money, I'll admit that I didn't like. But anyway, they had the $2.2 million. That was in a 1978, 79 bond issue.
Was Leon Kennedy still the president out there?
No, Jesse came
Jesse
after.
was the president by then.
Yeah, he came after Kennedy.
Right.
Kennedy, that was Kennedy's last year.
Okay.
And Jesse came after.
Right. Yes. So you then assisted Lawson State in receiving more money.
I didn't assist Lawson State, because Lawson State hadn't even applied for any money.
But you brought.
I just went on and got the money myself and got those fellows to help me. Got those white fellows.
Right.
But when I got the money, all the blacks been there 8 years. They said, you mean Tammy, you can't? I said, yes, I did. I got it. And it will be sent to Lawson State. They didn't want to believe it. I said, well, you all don't get up and try and see what you can do. You just sit here. One time, I remember Tucker trying to get some money for Hudson out there. He didn't get anywhere with it. You got to get in with the folks who handle the money.
That's right. Was there a black caucus at that time?
No, yes, it was, but it wasn't too strong at that time because you didn't have as many blacks, as black elected officials at that time.
Right.
But now, see, you have them from Selma and everywhere. They have a good black caucus now.
Right.
I'm not messing up this time.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So you then, your most memorable accomplishment was the getting of the $2.2 million for Lawson State. Were there other areas that you worked in that you were proud of in terms of assisting your constituency?
Well, wasn't during the time I was there, they weren't too aggressive about doing nothing too much.
Mhm.
Your legislative groups waste a lot of time sitting, looking, talking,
Mhm.
eating. I tell them they eat peanuts and read newspaper. But anyway, they didn't promote many projects or anything for their districts.
Mhm.
And I think that has improved some now.
Right. Were you able to promote any of the projects for your district? Did you show them in other areas that it could be done?
Well, I talked to the people in my district to let me know if they had other things that they would like to accomplish. But you know, folks don't foresee what they need to tell their representatives. And they don't give you too much to go on, see? But they do more now than they did then. But we need to, as a community people and our various districts, have more to ask of your representatives to do. Because they will not be able to sit and think of everything that you
That's right.
would like to have.
Are you still actively involved with the Democratic Party?
Oh yes,
Excuse me.
I go to their meetings and they know they have a state party,
Mhm.
and that's about it. I don't travel anymore. I traveled for 8 years with them on a national level.
Oh,
That was when Jerry Vance was involved. If he hadn't been killed, he would have been the national chairman,
yeah.
because all of those people had so much respect for him.
There's a controversy now in relationship to crossover voting.
I'm not too much for that crossover voting. I don't know whether you are a Republican or a Democrat, but I'm a Democrat, and I don't go for the crossover voting. Of course, I heard Mayor Arrington say for him to go and vote, he's encouraging Democrats to cross over. But now, he doesn't speak for me. He speaks for Richard Arrington. And he can't speak for the party because he doesn't hold an office in the party other than, delegate to. But I never did believe in crossover voting. But I guess in this case, if the people are not satisfied with what they have, they would have to, go to the poll and vote.
Well, some are suggesting that you cross over to help
Right.
either Blunt or Favre, and you have to determine who the opponent of the Democrat will be.
Yeah, I've heard that too, which would be favorable for Don Ziegler. Well, if it will, I'd do anything to help Don. But I'm just talking about my belief is,
Right.
I don't know what I'll do with voting.
That's right. Yeah, right.
I don't much believe in crossover voting.
So do you think that some will say that people will be confused by crossing over? Because if you cross over to vote Republican, then you have a stake in that candidate you vote for, and then come November, these black folk that voted crossover, they go back to the poll again and vote for the Republican. Have you heard that argument?
Well, I don't much believe they will do that if they're looking at the individual. And if they are for the Democratic person,
right,
they'll vote for the Democrat even if they did vote for it.
So that you don't think that would happen?
I don't think that'll have too much bearing on it.
But someone said that would give more value to the black vote. In fact, if you go and vote Republican this time, because it puts more value on your vote now, because the Democrat will not take the black vote for granted. Because someone said the Democrats are basically taking the black vote for granted, and if there's just a one-on-one, a Republican and Democrat, the Democrat simply assume that blacks are going to vote Democratic.
Yeah,
without really having to give the black community any real serious look.
mhm.
Is that
Well, that has some value. Um, people are kind of like this. They go for the person,
Mhm.
and so many people, especially black, don't know too much about the Republican Party anyway. So most blacks have voted Democratic over the years. So I don't know. They go by some individual. How much that individual impressed them?
you think they go by the person rather than the party?
I think so. Sometimes they do.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm strictly for party.
Right.
But a lot of folks have not been involved in party politics, so to speak.
That's right.
A lot of them have. But I don't know.
Well, how do you think the party has changed over time in terms of what is good for black constituency? Has the Democratic Party been good for black folk? Has the Republican Party been simply, totally out of it as far as black folk are concerned? How did you view that?
Well, the blacks always thought that the Republican Party was consisted of the elites, and they, how we like to stay away from that. You don't have too many black Republicans anyway, and blacks have always favored the Democratic Party. But now you have some blacks. What can go down here, my friend? What's his name? Finley. Richard.
Right.
He's a Democrat. We always talk about it. But you don't have too many
Republicans.
Black Republicans.
Right. Yeah. Probably have more now than we had 10
you
years
have
ago.
more. Yeah, you have more.
Yeah, it's a few more.
I noticed quite a few more.
But still, black folk primarily they vote Democratic.
That's correct. Yeah, they do. But I don't know. What do you think? I'm not supposed to ask you questions, but
Well, I just think that whatever is any way that the black community can garner any semblance of power, I think they need to do that, regardless of what that means as far as the Democratic or the Republican Party is concerned.
what's best for them?
What's best for the black community?
That's
Because I don't think anyone in the other parties are looking out for the best interest of black people. And I think the black people have to do that regardless of who that may encounter. And of course, to date, we have looked at that as being a Democratic thrust rather than a Republican thrust. But I think we have to start evaluating. I think it's a good thing to also look at the individuals and see what.
And evaluate the parties too.
That's right.
That's correct. I think so. Whatever's best, the develop that best for us.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
But now I tell you what, the blacks haven't really got into the Republican Party and pushed. We have pushed in the Democratic Party.
Right.
Because you see, Joe Reed, David Hood, me, all of us have pushed for blacks. And nobody's been in the Republican Party to really push for them. Because fiery Joe will get up there and clown like everything in the middle of all of them.
Right.
So they listen, don't worry about it. They have had to listen.
Right.
And I noticed just recently they made Joe a national member. And but you see, you got to get blacks in that Republican thing. To see what it's all about.
So you think there's a need for people like Richard Finley, who
Yeah,
is
you
in the
need
Republican
folks like
Party,
Richard Finley.
Joe Dixon.
Not just to sit there and be Joe. I haven't known him all his life, but Joe got a big mouth, but he's heard among the Republicans.
Right.
So Joe, he was always one of my coffee shop regulars. You remember Rambo was at that time. You didn't know so many people, did you?
No, I didn't go to Miles.
No, but I didn't know whether you ever not. But anyway, Joe, I don't know when Joe started with the Republican Party.
I'm not sure who Joe became.
I don't know exactly when, but anyway, Joe was kind of trying to push his way into some of the offices of the party at one time, I believe.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, until Favre, no, not Favre. The previous mayor, previous governor, and Joe, I think, had somewhat of difficulty.
Yeah.
And
The governor, the football team.
Guy Hunt.
Guy Hunt.
Right.
Well, I don't blame him for that.
Yeah, I think they fell out.
Yeah.
So,
I never did care for Guy Hunt.
Well, what do you see then as the future of blacks in politics in the state of Alabama?
I see a bright future for them if they will just stick to their guns. And I think that you said in politics or a particular party?
In politics.
Just politics
Yes,
generally. More of them need to become involved in politics. You know, most of our people are lost when it comes to even general conversation about politics.
Right.
I've been to club groups and things. You'd be surprised at the number of your school teachers. You better not ask them the name of their representative in that district. They don't know. And I tell them each time they say they don't know. I said, that's a shame. I said, suppose I was a student of yours and asked you that.
Right.
And you would know. Well, see, those kind of things, those are small things, but it's something that your people should learn to do. They don't know their representatives in their districts.
Right.
No. And today, if you ask some of the folk over at 6th Avenue, say, who's the state representative over here in this district? They wouldn't tell you Demetrius Newton.
Right. Yeah.
Because they wouldn't know.
That's right.
Well, that's a shortcoming for us.
Political education is so important. I
So
think we've done a
important.
good job with that.
Now, at our church, we don't have anything like that.
Right.
Porter been in the legislature because I took his place. And he should understand he have some kind of activities committee or
Political
political activities committee
Right.
in the church. Let them just generally discuss. You don't have to say what party you believe in or nothing.
Right.
But I think that should go along with it. At one time, he had somebody over there, I don't know who it was, but Lent was there at that time. And Lent was trying to get a little group together.
How would you evaluate Dick Arrington's 20 years as mayor of Birmingham?
Well, actually, I think Mayor Arrington has done an excellent job of trying to build the city. And he's done very well in improving the appearance in various communities in the city limits. And I think he's done a very good job. But now I must be fair, I've been knowing Richard since he was in knee pants.
Right.
Used to sign in for him at PTA meetings because his parents didn't go to PTA meetings. We all live in Fairfield. And he has done well, but I think we need a change now. After you stay in a place so long, you get tired, you've accomplished what you want to accomplish, and let somebody else have it. Now that's my opinion. I got nothing against Arrington. He has his peculiarities.
What do you think about the thrust for maps at this point?
I don't know whether I could just totally agree with maps or not. I'd have to give it some, attach more attention to it.
Right. That seems to be one of the big questions that's going to be coming up this summer, of course, with the
About the maps.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I noticed they putting out signs and so forth, but it hasn't impressed the community yet. Maybe, who is the, man that's direct out of, he's a Parisian man,
Right.
what's his name?
Hess.
Hess.
Donald Hess.
I don't think he's quite familiar with how to really push something over, to put it over, you know.
Right.
Maybe he is, I don't know. I don't even know.
Well, I don't either. It's going to be interesting though, because they, many people look at it as being a Birmingham initiative, and many whites that live outside of the city will look at it in that manner and will vote against it because of that.
But yeah, they will.
Right. And then there are those in the city who are saying that they agree with the concept of maps because it will improve the city overall, but they really concerned that black contractors and other blacks that are in, like attorneys, are not getting the same kind of benefits out of the maps that they should get.
They mean they haven't included them as
That's right.
up to this point as they should.
Yes, ma'am. So those are the kinds of criticisms that people are raising.
Yeah. They need to pay more attention to that.
Sure.
And make some guarantees to some of these contractors. Right. I noticed the architects, they don't include, they haven't included Woods and Owens on their sign, not because I know them so well, but
I guess that's the leading
that's the leading architect, black.
City, right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. So those are some of the questions that people are raising.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to include in this before we conclude?
Well,
we've covered a lot of material from Coosa County to Fairfield.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I hope I haven't talked too much.
No, you have not.
Because you've asked me, I always like to let the interviewer ask the questions.
Right.
But I don't know of anything.
Okay. Well,
but I tell you one thing I'd like to see given more consideration in this town, more administrative positions for women. You see, and
meaning city government,
and whatever.
Right.
Even your federal programs here.
So you think women should be given more consideration in various positions?
That's right.
Yeah.
I served on the Birmingham Regional Health Systems Agency. That's an organization that approves all federal funds to the various hospitals here. And I noticed in that it was my fight always with them. They had 22 members on that board. Most of them were doctors. And that was wrong in the first place. Each doctor was going to be for his hospital. But you didn't have any women in too many worthwhile positions. And there were one other black lady, I carried her on that thing. She was an instructor in nursing. And she told me, she said, you can't hardly get your black nurses and things to want to participate. I said, well, they better if they ever want to get any leadership out of it. But anyway, I served there 4 years, and that was interesting. They didn't include too many women.
So that should be really looked at very closely.
Yeah. But most big cities now, they aren't missing out on the women too much. You got to learn that you don't push without that now.
Right.
You get a lot of criticism if you do in any size city. I noticed in New York the other day, Giuliani, what's his name? The mayor of New York, I like him. He was appointing some women to something, and he was laughing. He said, if I want to stay here.
You know you gotta do it.
You gotta do it.
That's great. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come
I
and
didn't
sit and
have,
talk with me.
thank goodness, I didn't have a schedule today,
Yes. Well, that's great.
but, I was just hoping that I would be feeling well enough to come up here.
And you're looking good. I'm glad that you were feeling good today.
Well, I feel better, you
I
know.
certainly appreciate it.
I appreciate you inviting me to come.